Gerrymandering, aka redistricting. What does it mean? Why are people upset at Governor Abbott from Texas? He's going to be gerrymandering. He's going to be redistricting. You know what? I'm Newsom. I'm going to be doing it as well. If you do it, I'm going to do that to the state of California. And then Pritzker gets in there, and then they're like, I should have gone in there because the people really realize what we're doing in Illinois. This is not good. So what is gerrymandering? Let me give you an idea. So this is something they get to do once every 10 years when census gives the reports of population, blacks, whites, Asians, Middle Eastern, Democrats, Republicans, and they get to say, well, this is this district, this is what this district looks like. If you look at Illinois, this is what Illinois used to look like back in the day. If you look at it, these are basic districts. You see how they're like right next to each other, right? This is what Illinois looks like today. Look at the way they're doing the district, specifically that one district you're looking at. It's Illinois' 4th district. They call it the earmuffs because there's no way you can mess it up that way. Why would you do it that way? But what they do is they mix them up and they take a majority district of Republicans or Democrats and they'll try to separate them into different districts to lower the percentage so they can win the additional. It's actually very, very creative, done by every state. This is not a Republican or a Democratic thing, but this is something that's been going on, and it's something you ought to know about. We're going to talk about that today. So if you get value out of this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. So watch this. This is Illinois. When you look at Illinois, this is how much, when you see the red, that's areas that Republicans live in. Now, if you look at the state, you would say, well, it looks half and half Republican and Democrat. If that's the case, why is it that out of the 17 seats that they have at the House level, 17, 14 are Democrats, only 3 are Republicans. When they voted the state, 55% or so were Democrats, 45% were Republicans, but because of gerrymandering, 84% of the entire state's representatives are on the left, and only 16% are Republican, 3 out of 17, simply because of gerrymandering. That should kind of give you an idea. Now let's go back to the history of it. How did this name come about? There used to be a governor in Massachusetts back in 1812 called Elbridge Gerry. This guy was the first one to say, well, what if I'm able to redistrict in a way? And he did the district in a salamander. If you look at this, this is exactly what he did. This makes no sense to create this as a district. And then they said, wait a minute, this is brilliant. Gerry, salamander, gerrymandering. That's how the name came about, right? This guy had a brilliant idea. Everybody said, we're gonna do this. This guy was part of the old Democratic Republican Party is what they used to call it, pre-Lincoln. So it breaks down into 3 different types of gerrymandering. One of them is partisan gerrymandering. It's purely based on politics. Hey, you're Republican. We're going to kind of cut this area out because there's too many rich Republicans here. We're going to cut this Democrats out because there are too many of them. We're going to district it. Or number 2 is racial gerrymandering. Too many whites here. Too many blacks here. Let's split them apart. Let's split them apart on what they're going to be. Or last but not least is the bipartisan gerrymandering. Doesn't happen often, but some of them who do it, it's bipartisan. It benefits everybody. So you may ask, why would somebody do this? Very simple. It reduces competition. If Illinois is able to do what they did, Democrats have a hard time winning. By the way, those are numbers for Illinois we're talking about. California is very similar. In California, Newsom is threatening, saying, if Governor Abbott goes out there and does what he does, I'm going to lower the Republican seats, which is roughly 17% in the state of California. They have 83% of it. Let me say this one more time. California is going to flip. California is going to flip. Well, unless he can flip the gerrymandering that's going on today and make it bipartisan, they're going to have control for a long time. 83% seats are controlled by the left. Only 17% are controlled by the right. He wants to bring it down to 8% if Abbott pursues with the gerrymandering that he's about to be doing right now. So now that threat is a real threat to go from 17 to 8, but this is what happened in Texas. In Texas, the Senate passed a redistricting map, and the Senate who approved this, they voted on this, the senators of Texas, the state senators, they voted 19-2. 9 Democratic senators walked out in protest. They didn't even show up because they knew they were going to lose. The map is designed to add up to 5 GOP seats while eliminating or weakening several Democratic ones, potentially flipping districts held by figures like Representative Jasmine Crockett. That's why she made a comment yesterday. You can't get rid of me. I ain't going nowhere. But that's one of the people they're going after. Republicans argue it's necessary to reflect population shifts and counter perceived Democratic advantages elsewhere, but critics call it partisan gerrymandering. Obviously, this is going to frustrate a lot of people on the left, especially in the state of Texas, because they've been trying to take over state for a while. So many of them are upset. They left. They went to states like Illinois. Some of them went to New York, Massachusetts. More than 50 House Democrats from Texas have left those places. And Governor Abbott comes out and authorized civil arrest warrants for absent lawmakers and threatened special sessions over and over until the Democrats return. And Attorney General Ken Paxton is exploring legal options to vacate the absent member seats. Chaotic of this taking place in Texas. Now, if we look at the numbers, California 83-17, right? If we look at Illinois 84-16, the amount of gerrymandering going on in California, Illinois, a lot of these states. If you go to Texas, this is what it looks like right now. For Texas, out of 38 representatives, 25 are Republicans, 66%, 13 are Democrats, 34%. Nothing near where it's at in California or Illinois, but of course, this gerrymandering is upsetting anybody and everybody. Why? I'm going to go back to the point. What are the effects of gerrymandering? Reduced competition, increased polarization, skewed policy outcomes. Some may say this is exactly what's going to be happening in Texas. So obviously a lot of people are losing their minds. Pritzker goes on Stephen Colbert, goes on the Kristen Welker show, and let me tell you, what Abbott is doing. And then everybody says, well, this is your district, and you've been kind of doing this. So what do you have to say about the fact, because you have the worst gerrymander? Well, yeah, but what they're doing is because our people voted for this. And then Kathy Hochul is calling it insurrection. This is the governor from New York, and the best one is by Texas State Representative Jolanda Jones. Compared it to the Holocaust. That's what they're comparing it to. Okay, this is her saying it, not me saying it. She's saying this is what compared it to. Let me continue with you so you can understand what's going on. This is Maryland, District 3. Take a look at this one here. Tell me if this makes any sense. This is like the ultimate example of what gerrymandering looks like. Here's Pennsylvania, District 7. Look at Pennsylvania's District 7. So somebody may be watching and say, well, that's unfair, Pat. I don't care what happens. The Texas cannot be doing something like this. I said, well, maybe there's a reason for it. Because, by the way, when they do this, the census gives a report every 10 years. Most states, you can gerrymander as many times as you want because there's no federal authority on this. The federal government doesn't get to say anything about this. The governor, the local, the representative, the Senate, they vote for it. And if you got control over it, you can do it all you want. There are some states, they can only do it once a decade. Carolina is once a decade. Some states, about 6 or 7 states, they can only do it once a decade. Some even you can only gerrymander or redistrict it on the year that ends with the number 1. So 2021, 2031, 2041. But all the other states, guess what? Gerrymander all you want. But Republicans are upset because they're saying the following. Well, in 2020, when he gave us a census, you overcounted Democratic states and you undercounted Republican states. So some are arguing that part, that maybe there was some advantages there. Let me read some of the numbers to you. See how you look at this map here? See how it says green and there's purple? Green are the states that were overcounted, and purple are the states that were undercounted. Let me give you some of the numbers. Hawaii was overcounted by 6.8%, okay? New York, population 19 million, overcounted by 3.4%. That's somewhere around 700,000 people, the size of an entire congressional district, which means they could have one additional seat just because of this overcounting. It's a big deal when you look at it. Massachusetts overcounted by 2.2%. Minnesota overcounted by 3.8%. Delaware and Rhode Island were also overcounted. Out of all the states that were overcounted, if you look at this list here, and by the way, of the overcounted states, Utah and Ohio were the only ones that got overcounted. All the other ones that got overcounted were all on the Democratic states. And the undercounted states, very interesting when you look at the numbers here, look at that. Arkansas, 5%. Tennessee, 4.8%. Mississippi, 4.1%. Florida, minus 3.5%. Texas, minus 1.9%. Undercounted. In this case, to be fair, we have to also show that Illinois was minus 2% undercounted. So when you look at these numbers here, some people could say, wait a minute. You're doing this, you're forcing us to have to protect our state because we know the Democrats are targeting taking over Texas, because once they take over Texas, guess what? Democrats could win year after year after year presidential election. It's a massive state to take over and take control of. So a lot of people on the right are concerned. Now, President Trump's a little bit concerned about this long-term because he's trying to see what's going to happen next in 2028, 2032. What about these 15 million illegal immigrants that came in the last 4 years under Joe Biden? Do you count them towards the census? According to the 14th Amendment, it's yes. It tells us U.S. Constitution requires a congressional appointment be based on the whole number of persons in each state with no distinction between citizens and non-citizens, but the president and his team is going to try to do something about it. If they do, say they succeed, here's the differences it would make, okay? It would lower representation for states with large unauthorized populations, such as California, 1.8 million, even Texas, 1.6 million, and Florida, 1.2 million. But a lot of people on the other side said that's not going to happen simply because of the 14th Amendment that we have in place. Hopefully now you have a better idea what gerrymandering and redistricting is. If you want all these notes and the research that our team did, all you have to do is go to Manek, download the app, go to the PBD Entrepreneur Circle. It's $5 a month. You'll get all the notes in there. And the community talks to each other. You get all these notes. Click on this QR code, download the app. You'll have those notes there for you. And if you enjoyed this video, we did another video since a lot of people may be saying, well, maybe it's time for a third party. Elon Musk was talking about America's party he wants to start. If you've not seen it, maybe click here. The video will be here for you to watch. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye, bye-bye.